really good video turning Disney characters into Pokemon. And so with all the time and some Disney magic, the whole trip was suddenly a tax write-off. Damn, it feels good. But my current status with the IRS aside...
And today we are not talking about superheroes. No, we're talking about vigilantes. But what is a vigilante? A vigilante is defined by Google as a member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because the legal agencies are thought to be inadequate. That means that in worlds where heroes and law enforcement have to live under a strict set of rules, vigilantes go out of their way to break these rules for the betterment of mankind. Sorry, that snuck up on me. My apologies. I didn't. Daddy, sorry.
Like a real boy, Papa.
But why are we even talking about vigilantes today? Well, because I'm a huge fan of My Hero Academia, and while I was finishing up the show as it currently stands streaming, I found My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I love this show. The animation style is just a little bit different from MHA proper, and the character designs, the interactions, kind of just the entirety of the series feels so fresh, so new, so crisp, and the art style, it's good. So as I started looking at this and decided, how can I involve this in the channel? How can I get My Hero Academia into the channel in some way? There's a million characters from that series, and I could either do a 10-episode series, which will probably happen, or I could focus on Vigilante first and see what you guys think. So, without much further ado, let's hop into My Hero Academia Vigilantes as Pokemon. Hi, I'm the Thesterninator, and
I am here!
Welcome to the channel. While you're here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff that makes me and YouTube happy, and let's hop right into the video. My Hero Academia. It started off as your run-of-the-mill manga, released in 2014, and fans have been going plus ultra ever since. So, with the adaptation into anime just 4 years later, a whole new section of fans were born. The story is set in the modern day, except people with special powers called quirks have become commonplace, with 80% of the population possessing some form of quirk, like super strength, or fire manipulation, or Windex-headedness, and only 20% born quirkless, meaning without any form of power. In a world of chaos and confusion, pro heroes have risen as the new profession to fight off powerful supervillains. But following the success of Kohei Hirokoshi's My Hero Academia, a new story was drafted into the world by Hideyuki Furukashi with My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which follows the story of Koichi Hamawari, aka the Crawler, and his band of other non-licensed heroes, PopStep and Knuckle Duster. And with the anime recently dropping on Hulu and Disney+, and my immediate fascination with the story, I thought, why not take these characters and turn them into Pokemon? Why? Well, because I have an incurable problem of seeing everything through the Satoshi Tajiri lens. First up, we have PopStep, or to be more specific, her non-vigilante alter ego, Kazuho Hanayama. While PopStep is an outgoing and poppy type of character, Kazuho is a bit more...
Your normal look is a little more...
plain or boring and you're dead!
Let's say down to earth. She comes across as shy and withdrawn, hiding behind the vigilante facade to gain increased confidence. And I mean, look at her vigilante design. She wears this outfit and is adored by millions. I wear it and am immediately asked to leave the mall food court. Where's my confidence, Stargazer Mall and Shopping Center? Regardless of that, I wanted to go with something that felt kind of shy and focused in on this draped type of look. Her hair is a major part of the design, and so I expanded on that feature so that this Pokemon could hide behind her hair and close herself up. I also added some extra shapes to give off tiny hearts and allude to what would eventually become wings in the evolved form. Given her quirk Leap, wherein she's able to take great jumps off of any physical object, she would eventually have to become a flying type. But that's for a later time. Currently, I want this form to really encapsulate the idea of being withdrawn, and use the grayish color scheme of the body to give some sense of anxiety to the whole vibe. And trust me, there ain't no one who gets the idea of anxiety quite like ya boy. The inspiration here was to make her appear as a polyp, which is a membranous growth that can appear in or on the body due to stress or other outside factors. She's just a little growth, a tumor, a representation of something that not only wants to hide, but also that you, yes you, the viewer, might want to keep out of sight. I picture this Pokemon as wanting to stay close to their trainer for fear of being seen, attaching itself to a shoulder or leg in an attempt to keep from anyone spotting them. Only problem in doing so is that it draws a ton of unwanted attention to the actual trainer for having this lump protruding from their shoulder. She's not great at hiding, but that's more your problem now than hers. So meet Propali, the shy Pokemon. The name is a combination of Prop, Pop, and Polyp. Sounds like the beta name for Snap, Crackle, Pop. But this Pokemon despises attention and will go out of its way to not be seen, despite rumors that they have a beautiful singing voice. They will hop from one surface to another, with even the most talented surgeons having difficulty in removing them from their perch. However, if given the chance to shine in battle, they will evolve into something much more powerful and outgoing. Yes, if ever there were a need to introduce one of those Pokemon, then that time is now. Joining the ranks of Lopunny, Gardevoir, and Serena, these Pokemon need some presence. I picture this evolution requiring something like a shiny stone, but if we were to get real technical and go the ranks of other complicated, like Relor, who needs to walk a certain distance to evolve, or Farfetch'd, who needs to land 3 critical hits in a single battle, your Propaply may evolve instead by becoming the center of attention. Despite being fairly weak, if this Pokemon can land the knockout blow 5 times, it may evolve into this new form. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, what you think about this evolution method, and if you have any other ideas for how we can go from Propaply to this. For the design, I wanted to go fairly humanoid, while still keeping some features to get that flying type brought into play, while not going full bird mode. I decided to recontextualize the pigtails as these feather-like appendages. I don't picture them being the same texture as feathers, but still giving that overall vibe. And I wanted to bring in that same motif into the legs and arms to better mimic PopStep's costume, while not, 100% mimicking it. Pokemon is a kid's game after all. Well, more or less. So I went in trying to figure out the best way to get across PopStep's look into this Pokemon design. She's a vigilante, and so I wanted to keep some of those darker aspects to segment up the body and create this almost unitard-like appearance, similar to what we see in Mega Lopunny.
I got a Lopunny, Batman. I got a Lopunny.
I swapped out the hands for wings and picture keeping that normal typing will still give us access to some of those sound-based moves. So keeping all of that in mind, I felt like we were hitting a pretty good stride on design. Of course, that vibrant pink has to be a part of the look, and that breaking up with black and gray while still keeping that underlying skin texture, I feel really bring this Pokemon full circle and feeling femme as well as fatale. She's a Pokemon for the girlies that still gets across those powerful aspects. She's risen above her shy pre-evolution and now is daring and ready for combat so long as she is the star. She just needs an ability to go with this new outlook on life. So let me know in the comments what ability this Pokemon, as well as the rest from this video, should have. Remember, she's a star and now seeks the spotlight and lets her leap quirk show in full force upon gaining that flying typing. So meet Propalite, a star-studded Pokemon. Her name is a combination of Prop, Propel, and Starlight. This Pokemon is always eager to perform with her singing voice, able to be heard from miles away. It will often leap to the tallest point around so that it can create its own stage. Trainers have reported this Pokemon sneaking away at night so as to be adored by onlookers when it feels it isn't getting enough attention. We've done a lot of talking about quirks, but this next Vigilante's superpower is that he actually doesn't have one. There's a lot that can be said about Knuckle Duster. He's a simple man, he likes beer and not wearing pants, but his backstory is one that really sends a shiver down your spine, especially if you've read the manga. Now, I'm not going to go into a ton of it for spoilery reasons and the impact that it has on the grander arc of the series, but safe to say, you can get a lot just from his first appearance. His main combat tools seem to be his fists, brass knuckles, and whatever bricks or debris he may find lying on the ground. It's been said that if All Might is this universe's Superman, then Knuckle Duster is our Batman. His real name is Ivo Ogaro, and behind that menacing and borderline psychotic outer layer is an even more menacing and borderline psychotic one. So for this design, I wanted to capture that blend of stoicism and eccentricity with this massive boulder-like Pokemon. I've decided early on that given his penchant for brass knuckles, especially since Knuckle Dusters are another name for that tool, I wanted to incorporate some steel attributes as well. I looked at the concept as this stone golem and played around with shapes for a while. And while I'm a fan of jutting spikes and spires, just look at our last video for examples on that, I wanted this one to feel broad and rounded, with just a few jagged edges dotting the surfaces. I also wanted to bring in this multi-layered look that kept up a blocky type of layering, but also mimicked how rocks can have these segments where other rock types have cut in or been pressurized with time. This also let me break up that all-black look that Knuckle Duster wears, bringing in just the slightest bit of color to give some variation to the different shades that I was going with here. Why do I get the sneaking suspicion, by the way, that most of us would wear this exact getup were we to suddenly become superheroes? Sorry, Knuckle Duster is not a superhero. He's a vigilante, and proud to be one. He feels that some heroes are a little too soft on crime, and prefers to punch first and ask questions later. Only problem is, his victims are usually very unconscious, so his questions don't tend to get a lot of answers. However, he really shines in his hero and quirk knowledge, as well as his unending pursuit of the drug Trigger. Lickitung had better stay far away from this Pokemon, but his knowledge of quirks and superheroes is on par and rivaling that of Deku's as far as we've seen in both the anime and the manga. So here's Knuckle, the rock-faced Pokemon. The name is a phonetic pronunciation of the word knuckle. Knuckle, get it? This Pokemon is known to hide in the shadows, striking only when needed. However, once it does choose to strike, it can become relentless. Pity those who earn this dreaded Pokemon's ire. Before we move on to our next Vigilante, don't forget to check out our Discord. Did you know that 80% of new Discord members obtain a free quirk just by joining? Maybe it's actually 08%? That still seems a little high. It's some percentage with a 0 in it, I know that for sure. Or consider becoming a YouTube member. For just $3 a month, you'll get access to videos early and get your name thrown into our weekly giveaway that we do on the first Wednesday of each month in our live streams. This month, we're giving away a pack of the latest English set Journey Together, and all you have to do is be a member to hop into that giveaway. You also get your name thrown at the end of videos like this one. So consider joining our membership program and supporting the channel. Now, back to the video. When looking at Koichi Hamawari, aka the Crawler, we run into a few speed bumps, ironically. I knew that I wanted a froggy type of vibe, but I kept just redesigning Greninja. You see, in the anime so far, Koichi's costume is just that of All Might, in a hoodie form, which, with those long hair things, end up looking a lot like Greninja's ear things. And so while I knew this would be a hurdle, I kinda just kept designing. A part of me actually kind of likes the similarity, as Koichi is meant to be mimicking someone he looks up to, so maybe this Pokemon does the same, and as a frog, mimics another more popular frog-based Pokemon. I tried to keep some of the All Might inspired colors, but found myself tripping up from time to time. Like, I didn't have 3 points of contact. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out despite the circumstances though, and while it's not one of my favorite designs, I find that as an artist, one of the best things that you can do for yourself when you're coming upon a design that you don't quite really like is further explore what you can do with it. It may inform your next design, or it may show you what you didn't want to use and highlight those areas so that you're sure not to trip on them next time. Amphiglide, the hover Pokemon. The name is a reference to amphibian and glide. This Pokemon is swift and cunning as it moves throughout cities and countrysides, remaining low to the ground, gliding over surfaces. They're nearly impossible to track as their hands and feet remain inches from any surface that they glide over, and thus leave no finger or footprints. For this next design, I do have to confess to reading ahead. You see, Koichi does eventually get his own uniform in the manga, and it is such a cool design. It takes inspiration from his original suit, but amps up the uniqueness in some interesting ways. So for this design, I took that suit into account. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then click away now, but like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff before you go in case you haven't yet. I don't want to lose the algorithm due to spoilery stuff, so I'm giving you the warning. Make sure that you hop away if you don't want to be spoiled for some minor details that come up in the manga. We good? Cool, great, okay. So later in the series, Koichi adopts this new uniform that I am in love with. It's smooth and thin vibe, give off that crawler type of look, and make him feel so much more stand out over the All Might design. So naturally, I had to use this as inspiration for an evolution. I decided to focus in on the goggles and give this froggy boy a pair of shades that give him a whole new eye shape. Taking what we learned in the previous design, I really liked the bulbous arms as they feel like the weight is distributed over the hands and feet rather than having a central gravity towards the body. See what I was talking about earlier? When you have these aspects of a design that you don't like, keep exploring, keep seeing what you can do, because while I didn't necessarily see the previous form as a success, there were portions that I decided I wanted to transfer over. So extending down the cut of the uniform's blue into black further down this Pokemon's torso make it feel all at once froggy and amphibian. God, I just wish that there were another My Hero Academia character based on a frog. I could turn them into a Pokemon, but as much as I search, I can't seem to find one. Maybe you'll have better luck than I did though. Let me know down in the comments if there's any frog-based heroes in My Hero Academia that maybe I forgot about. I feel like there's one, it's on the tip of my retractable tongue. Either way, I really dig this design and how the structure of the pre-evolution and Koichi's more modern suit can combine together into this really cool look. I brought some of the color up to the facial area too, so that there's this focus and contrast to the cheeks, while keeping the glowing blue to the fingertips at the other end of the body to reference his power set. I'm really excited to see what kind of abilities y'all can come up with for this Pokemon specifically. Striamph, the Glide Pokemon. The name is a mix of Striate, Triumph, and Amphibian. This Pokemon can glide seamlessly from the city streets onto walls and into the air. Their enhanced eyesight allows them to triangulate on best platforms to land on, and spot any potential dangers and obstacles before they become an issue. So, who was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to check out the Patreon, where you can get high-res images of Pokemon from today's video and previous videos. Plus, you would still get your name at the end of a video, like the ones we're going to get to in just a second. And there's also a few extras from time to time, designs that didn't make it into a video or are Patreon specific. But with that said, it sounds like you know where to find me, and I'll catch you in the next one. But before we go, I want to give a big shout out to all of the people who help make these videos possible. Whether you're a free supporter over at Patreon, or you're a member over at YouTube, or you're a paid member at the Patreon, you guys are what make these videos possible, so thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to some of our higher tier supporters over at the Patreon, those being Cabo4231, Sean, Elandriel, Sky, Yuja Sakaki, Lex Wright, Drake Knoll, Jeremy Sunday, Justin Grenier, Siren Shadows, Daniel, Kaylin Cat, Soren Frost, Styx TV, and Dan Bush. And of course, we can't forget our YouTube members who join for just $3 a month. You can get early access to videos as well as access into our monthly giveaways. I can't wait to see you there. But for the moment, let me introduce you to some of my friends who are already YouTube members. Those being Linksia, Rai Juno, Sigil Sealed, Zed Ravenmore, Siren Shadows, Somni Stars, Kaylin Cat, and Crimbo McSwizzle. My god, my voice is gone. I'm gonna go take a lozenge and a long nap. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Oh, I'm still sick, I'm so sorry.